We call it design and we call them sketches and whatever we want to call them, but essentially it's just another way of communicating a solution to someone who doesn't have that solution but is helping you to develop it into a product. I think it was like the first year of automotive design. One of the lecturers now, and now I look back at it, I think maybe he was just getting us for cheap labor. He took us outside into the car park, gave us a couple of buckets
of soap, right?
And we washed the car. And you wash the car and then suddenly you're appreciating these forms. And I think it was like, you know, it wasn't anything special as a car, but you're suddenly thinking about the forms while you're exploring them and realizing how intricate some of those are, and the way even door shut lines and split lines and things like that intersect.
When we're talking about aerodynamics and the way the air flows, and I always encourage people to actually wash the car, because you'll be able to put your arm in all the way into the intakes and understand actually where is this happening and how is it working. And that's the one thing you can't get from 5-10 feet away. So getting a bit more hands-on with the cars is always a good experience. Personally, I can say, as well within the studio, there's quite a lot of interest in aviation. A lot of us are big into planes, and a lot of it also comes down to this purity of form. And when we talk about iconic design, that's really what it comes down to, is to create this image in the viewer's mind that they can easily recall. And simply by doing that, you're creating a really clean aesthetic, typically, with simple volumes that sometimes intersect or sit on top of each other. And I think that's what makes cars memorable.
I wanted to be a car designer at 5 and I was just drawing cars. Like, was it the same for you? Or like where did it start?
I always loved art. For me, it started out with art, drawing. I was always the kid that was getting in trouble in class because I wasn't paying attention. I was doodling something in the back of the room. But cars, I always loved drawing. I never really understood the link between them. But when it kind of came together, that's when I really said, oh, wow, I could take this thing that I really like doing and combine it with the product or the machine or the thing that gives me the fantasy of driving it. And that's really where it came together for me.
It was toy cars and playing with toy cars. And I was like, oh, cars can create this kind of feeling in people. That's kind of where it started for me. How do I become part of that and create some of those feelings for people?
Thinking back even, I think my first car that I remember, I think I even still have, is a 79 Trans Am with a big screaming eagle on the hood of it. And I remember playing with that thing to death. I don't think it's orange or gold anymore. The paint's worn off of it. But then thinking further down the line, it's how to create that kind of emotional response.
Going back to, my first car, and it's about just sparking that conversation or someone reading into it and be like, this isn't stock, this is something else. And that does translate, from customizing toy cars into real cars. I've got a couple of hot rods and I've got 55 Chevy, which I'm already playing with. I think I was painting it the day after I got it back. And not like just changing the color, but like creating all these details on the car. When I'm building my hot rods, I'm building hot rods from like the 40s and 50s because I want to experience what that car would have been like.
It's always fun to inform people on what has happened in the past.
That era of racing cars that was so raw, and I love what it sparks in people. It's about kind of that heritage and experiencing something that was happening in the past.
Your cars are definitely a bit older than the one I have, but you always look at things and you try to understand why it looks like that. Is there a line here for a reason? Why was it designed? Was it a cooling thing? What is it? And how would you change it? And I think for me, that became very evident because my first car that I ever got in high school was a Fiero GT, 88. So I think one of the reasons I got attracted to that car was because of the space frame chassis that it had on it. I saw that as, it's just like a Hot Wheels frame that you could put a different body on it. So I said, well, if I want to be a designer, maybe I can design my own body for it or something. And went down that 1 or 2 year path with my dad, and we ended up building this one-off thing. And it was really special because I think it was my first time understanding what it was like to actually design something and then see something real, from sketch to making it a physical thing that you could stand next to. I think I attribute a lot of my kind of art center process because I think it was that car that got me so fired up about it. And it was a creative outlet. And I think a lot of us designers look for that. And whether that's, beautiful artwork or building things and getting hands-on, you do a crazy sketch and you go, how are we going to make that?
When you see it in the flesh, it just makes such a difference.
Things come into perspective. You start to understand the blades, how they're angled, particularly around the front, how they guide the air through. The negative space is also really important.
I was so impressed by this. Yeah, the intake at the top here. And you see it, but you don't see it till you're here.
Exactly. We've been asked a few times, it looks like a roof scoop, but this is actually a flow diverter.
I thought it was a roof scoop.
The feature is something new we've done in this case, where actually you can see it's almost got this aerospace-inspired shape and profile, but it does multiple functions, including having sensors and cameras and chimsels, but actually it guides the air and keeps it attached to the back of the car.
And then the aerodynamics and the wing support.
And this is really the big party piece of the car, is that as the airflow is attached and continues back, it reattaches and joins to the back of the car, creating that 1,000 kilos of downforce. So
It's
huge
such a
numbers.
simple part, really, in theory, but then a complicated,
Yep.
and it just, creates that solution.
But it's the combination of these elements that equal, the big performance.
Like all these pieces interact with each other. They're all independent, but again, it's making sure those lines still relate. And
In the way they stow into each other. Exactly. This line flowing into the taillight, you're trying to reconnect.
As a designer, I'm solving a problem and answering a question, but it's important that that problem or question is there.
You need that strong vision, don't you? Because it's that will ultimately be the execution of the final car. So sometimes you start a project and you think, how are we going to deliver this? But then 4 years later, through some amazing engineering and thinking and kind of really understanding the problem, you can find some really creative solutions. I appreciate beautiful art and illustration, but I want to see that I'm actually building something real, something that a human will interact with.
I'm trying to always impress this on my design team, is that you get also to take it from concept sketch through production into reality. Every element of the vehicle will be your responsibility.